Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Catalyst Energies. My name is Dee. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful that you're here for this daily medicine transmission for the new moon in Aquarius, February 11th, 2021. Welcome. Good morning. Good day. Whenever and wherever you are, it's so great to be here with all of you. So let's make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Yes. Good morning. So I did put out the astrology video last night. It is up on BitChute. It is here on YouTube. You can access it from Facebook and Telegram in terms of social media accounts, and you can also just subscribe to this channel and subscribe to BitChute, and that will also allow you to have better access when I post these videos and this content. So it was about 60 minutes. I packed a whole month of astrology in there, and let's just say it's never boring, that's for sure. But today's transmission is about the new moon in particular, and the daily medicine that we all, including myself, often need. You know, I get as much out of these transmissions as anybody else does, because I am just a human being who is along on this journey with the rest of us, and there's no way I can separate myself from what's going on, because we're all in this here at the same time. So where are we here? We have our new moon in Aquarius, as I said, and we have some other transits that are happening today. Venus is going to meet Jupiter in Aquarius today as well. And so this is often a very benefic, a very expansive, and a lot of good luck and fortune when it comes to our resources, because that is Venus. But we are talking about Aquarius. And so we're really talking about our ability to expand on the resource of our collective and the collective that we're part of, because we really are stronger and more abundant together than we could ever be individually. So new moons are a time where we set intentions for the lunar cycle. It's also the Chinese New Year, right? And so we are actually setting some intentions in some ways for the entire year, and it is the year of the metal ox. So I really invite you to go and check out the new moon video. It's a lot of information, but I talk very specifically about the major transits, the new moon in particular, and this year of the metal ox and what it represents. So it's interesting. So let's look at the astrology for today. I'm going to bring up the chart here so we can kind of see what we are looking at before I get into the intuitive transmission, because there is some very specific energy, and it's really easy right now. You know, I have a very specific brand of the way that I do my astrology and my readings and work with my clients. I really don't work very well in generalized platitudes. This is why I don't do horoscopes, because everybody's chart is so uniquely different, and the energetic and archetypal connections are so uniquely different that and no disrespect to people who work that way and they do horoscopes and they make generalized content for people so that they can, get a sense of how to move through their day. And that's what this is for sure. But it's very intuitive, and it's not really based on a generalized theme. And so there is this sense, of course, with the new moon that we're setting intentions, and we're talking about Aquarius. So we're talking about the future and the highest potential that we can manifest. But I feel like it's important that we talk about manifestation and what that actually means, because the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, for as much as it expands on and gives us good luck in our financial resources and our material resources and whatever resource we value, Venus is the goddess of love. She is sensitive, and she loves anything that is beautiful and harmonious. This is also why she rules Libra, because she is all about the aesthetic balance and symmetry, and things being beautiful and harmonious, and appeases her senses, right? We're talking about the material reality that we all live in. And so having these two come together in and of themselves, yes, it certainly does stimulate, an expansion and some good luck and fortune in our financial resources. But when we're talking about Aquarius, we are talking about, we are outside of time and space when we are with Aquarius, okay? We are past, present, future all at the same time. And we are working, Aquarius is the energy that moves through the Akashic field. It is the current of electricity. It is that lightning bolt that stimulates radical and sudden transformation. This is why Uranus and Taurus has been such an interesting and at times really disruptive and frustrating. And oh boy, the frustration's going to come. Again, watch the video because I talked about every single date that you're going to have to pay attention to with Saturn and Uranus on the 17th. It is not far, right? We are less than a week away from that transit. And that is going to be some serious headaches for people because that is a lot of... Oof, those squares, just fixed squares and Saturn and Uranus. Oh boy, it's going to be a lot, and it's going to be a lot that we're not anticipating. And the thing about Venus and Jupiter today, and this is going to fit really well into the reading that came out and the cards that came out, is that with Aquarius, it all exists at the same time, past, present, and future. And it's our coherence to the natural order of things that allows us to be able to connect to all aspects of time in the same moment. It's the cause and effect relationship in a singularity. And Venus and Jupiter coming together is allowing us to not only be very sensitive to what is coming, but it also is expanding on it and allowing us to identify with it collectively, finding a sense of, because Jupiter is about it's a benefactor, right? It's a benefactor, something, it's expanding on anything that it touches and rules Sagittarius. And remember, Sagittarius is the South Node right now. So there is a lot of power behind it, but it is not where we are headed. But it is going to give us an injection of momentum here, and we're going to be very sensitive to it. And what are we sensitive to? Well, we're sensitive to the changes in the barometric pressure of reality that allow us to anticipate what's coming. And so for as much as this conjunction with the new moon is about our resources expanding and good luck and an infusion of fortune, and like I said, the benefactor, what it really seems to be doing is infusing us and in expanding on our sensitivity to what is coming, because it allows us to be able to measure the pressure that is currently happening, right? The reason we can see into the future, quote unquote, especially with Aquarius, is because the seed of that potential exists in the now moment. And this conjunction is going to allow for us to really tap into that. And when we can identify that the present moment holds the seed resonance for what's coming, we can let go of all of our need to control the situation. We can let go of what we're trying to quote unquote manifest. We can let go of this ego-based push to try to create something when it's already created. It's already right here. We just have to be open to that process. And that seems to be much, and that can certainly be resources. This is why it's important to understand your own chart, because where Aquarius is in your chart is going to show you what area of your life it's going to expand upon. So for me, I have Aquarius as my first house. I have a 0 degrees Aquarius ascendant. So these conjunctions and this new moon are all about me and who I present to the world and how I identify myself and the baseline of my personality. I mean, Saturn and Jupiter conjunct on the solstice was on my ascendant. So, I mean, there is a lot about, this is just an example. there's a lot about me as a person, my personality, who I am, who I present to the world, my subjective experience that not only is being expanded upon and seeing where the potential growth is coming from. The new moon is about being able to let go of our frustration and our passion and the really aggravated, because passion is what motivates us to do something, right? We have to let go of that. This is what this new moon is about, letting go of that. And it's not to say we shouldn't be doing things, but letting go of that motivation to try to do something, to change something, so that we can be a vessel for deep wisdom and to share that with other people. So again, this is why it's important to understand your chart. I do lunar transit readings for a very decent rate that shows you what to expect throughout the lunar cycle. It's only $44, and it gives you a rundown of the entire lunar cycle and what to expect and what areas of your life are going to be impacted by all the transits. So that's something that is really can be really beneficial, and it's really not that, as far as readings go, it's not that expensive. You pay more for a lot of other things than to have a sense of what to expect in the coming months based on these major transits. So we do have the new moon, like I said, and we also have, so that means the moon now has moved across Mercury retrograde as well. The moon is in a trine to the North Node. The nodes are, this trine here, a lot of stuff's going to trine the North Node throughout the month, okay? And the South Node in Sagittarius. We really are, there's a lot of energy about insulation, and protecting ourselves, protecting our mind, protecting to a certain extent that resource of our mental energy, because it is easily preyed upon when we are very open. And the real trick is to learn how to be open and have this beginner's mind, and to be an empty vessel without being subjected to being attacked, either verbally, either physically, and when we're talking about the mind here, we're talking about an intrusion, an actual intrusion, an astral intrusion. This is what brainwashing is, right? Is this, mind control aspect. So how do we stay open with this beginner mind as an empty vessel, and at the same time keep ourselves from being subjected to intrusions into that space? That is some serious work. And the North Node is showing us that direction, because it's about insulating ourselves within the framework of our own mental process. And I'm not saying that we should push out things or that we shouldn't pay attention to what's happening in reality, but we don't want to be pulled into the drama. We want to be in the world, but not of the world. And this is really going to help this process over the next month. And so again, I talked a lot about this in the astrology report. Suffice it to say that this new moon today is setting the intention again for how we are going to let go of this need to control and this passion that wants us to get change something or do something, and be open for the change to happen that's already exists, right? The seed point already exists, and being able to anticipate what's coming so that we can hold a space for it to come in, right? Because the more we try to do and do and do, the less we're making space within ourselves for it to come in. And so I think that it's important that we realize the difference, because there's a lot of really generic astrology about manifesting our highest potential. And that's really great, but those are just words until you start to actually know the difference, what it feels like in your body. And that moon conjunct with Pluto not that long ago, that was a big eye opener, right? That was a time where we really started to see the shit that was buried, coming up, that is influencing our mental perspective, our actions, how we relate to the world. I know I did. I was seeing a lot of stuff that I thought was dealt with really coming up and out. And so I invite you to maybe, take some time to really consider, how we are are not clearing a space potentially for the new to come in because we're so busy trying to quote unquote manifest. It's not an active process necessarily. It's an alignment process, and everything has already happened. Okay, everything has already happened. Now that doesn't mean that there's no determination, that there's no effort to be put in, but we have to be mindful of where we're putting that effort. And is it about being motivated purely by action and passion to change something, or are we putting the energy into creating a vessel? Are we creating, conditioning the soil and the medium? And that's where Mars is right now. Mars is in Taurus, in the soil, in the medium of the growth of the seed. And that has been frustrating, but it also has been very grounding as well, because Mars is the action Aries, Taurus is the soil. We've really had an opportunity, especially since January 6th, which when Mars went into Taurus, to really focus that attention on the actual medium that we are growing in, that our action potential is able to, to manifest in. When Mars comes into Gemini, on the 3rd of March, this is when that sprout is going to pop up out of the soil, and it's on. Then at that point, there is all that action behind the burgeoning of our consciousness. And at that point, Mercury will have already moved direct. Within 10 days, it will be out of its shadow. So come March, things are going to be moving quickly. So this lunar cycle is about our ability to create ourselves as a vessel. Okay? So, let's see what else is going on today. I mean, look at all of that Aquarius. The moon, like I said, is going to trine the North Node, is going to square Mars again. It is really about, we need some courage here, right? The courage and we want to subdue so much at the same time that Mars is just like, well, this new potentiality is coming, right? And again, we have to let it happen organically, I think, and we have to create the vessel. So let's look here at the reading. So, I mean, look at all of this, Aquarius. It's absurd. And we have Pallas Athena too. So you have 4 planets, an asteroid, and the 2 luminaries. So you have 7 bodies in Aquarius right now. So there's a lot of focus on the future, on freedom, on that current of energy that moves through, and it's going to change when Pisces comes into the picture. So you can, again, go and listen to the report if you want to get the astrology for the whole month. This is just setting the tone for today. So let's look at this reading, right? Here we go. So we have the 10 of discs. We have the 10, the Wheel of Fortune, flanking the meridian of our consciousness and our energy right here. So we have these 2 energies about the close of a cycle. And in the middle, we have the Fool, right? So here's our empty vessel right here, the beginner's mind in the center of this energy here. And where we are at energetically is, I think we are definitely still feeling disempowered. We are feeling out of balance within ourselves. We are letting our emotions take over. And this is why it's important that we realize how to be insulated within our own process, right? Be in the world and not of it, because otherwise we get pulled out of our center. And our center is meant to be right now this beginner's mind, this empty vessel, to have total trust in ourselves and in our gut, and react to the present, right? Again, Venus and Jupiter, they can anticipate what's coming because it already exists in this now moment. And we are going to become very sensitive to that with this conjunction. And there will be a benefactor of awareness and expansion on that as well, so that we can anticipate what's coming. We can measure the barometric pressure and make a forecast of what's coming, because we're just looking at the facts. That's all it is. We're just looking at the facts. Natural facts allow us to see what is coming. And again, that's where Uranus is too in Taurus, having faith in the cycle. The thing about Uranus is that it's instantaneous, and Uranus and Aquarius. Or Taurus, we have 1 foot in 3D, we have 1 foot in 5D, and we're still bridging that gap, and everybody's in a different place about it right now. So let's get right into, all right, the 10 of Discs, wealth. We have everything we already need coming into the moment, right? This is security, all of our richest potentials unfold. So there's nothing here that we have to work on manifesting, right? We have it all. It's all here. We've accumulated it all. We've completed the work, whatever that work is. Everything is coming full circle in a very material way. Okay, we're talking about earth, mutable earth. And there's some security here. So again, we're trying to change something about a reality that is already, we have everything that we need. All of the coins are here in our possession. If you look at this, it's in the shape of the tree of life. It's all here. It's all here, and the cycle is about to turn over. And so coming into the moment, if we are able to recognize that it's all here, right? Venus has it all of our resources, everything that we want. We've already gathered it all in. It's already here. We don't have to actually do anything necessarily to change anything. And this is where the passion that we have to let go of with this new moon so that we can teach from deep experience is important. We've already gathered. And sometimes, this is about how we, even our most challenging experiences, and believe me, this year has been challenging for everybody on many different levels. We have all suffered in some way, shape, or form. Even those are potential riches because they become the stuff that we teach this deep wisdom from. These experiences have just as much of a spiritual value as the positive things. And if we can think about it that way, we are going to realize that we have everything that we need. All of these experiences do amount to a sense of wealth. Now remember, Virgo, this is Mercury in Virgo. Virgo is the 6th house. This is going into the darkness to do the work on ourselves. The hermit goes into hell and the darkness in order to bring back the light, in order to shine the light, okay? So again, just because it says wealth, just because it has to do with the richest potentials doesn't mean that it's all gravy, right? Those richest potentials unfold because of challenges and because of experiences that taught us how to survive, right? This is the energy coming into the moment. Now, here we have the Fool, right? The number 0, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. We are open to all possibilities. We have the beginner's mind. We belong nowhere. We have no past, infinite future. Everything has already been accumulated, and now we can let it all go, right? We don't have any expectation. We don't have any link to a past. We don't have anything but an infinite future. Every moment is a new beginning, and every all of it is based in this present moment. It's all here for us in terms of potential and possibility. So we have to trust our gut. As you can see here, the Fool is surrounded by all of these animals. He's got this little tiger, gnawing on his leg very playfully. There is no worry here at all, and is completely encompassed by, the egg. 0 is the egg, the cosmic egg, right? Just where Saturn is, the cosmic egg. So we have to let go of everything. And with the 10 of Discs coming into the moment with us, we have everything we need. We can let the cycle wrap itself up and come to this point of a beginner's mind in order to create a vessel. It's an empty vessel in order for a new creation to come in. Now, where we're struggling, I think, energetically, and this is very much, we are definitely struggling. And I'm right with you. The South Node is sitting right on my Neptune and my Mars in my 11th house. Such a strong warrior and these lofty humanitarian ideals. I'm going to save the world. That's really what it is. I'm going to save the world. And that is where we are coming from, but that is not where we're headed, right? And the more that I am bumping up against the fact that that is not where we are headed, the more frustrated I'm getting. The North Node is in my 5th house. This is about me and my creative self-expression. This is less about me saving anybody and more about me getting to know myself. Okay, and how I express myself. So that's just another example of how we can use the astrology chart to understand what areas of life and maybe what, give us some context for why we're feeling frustrated and questioning these things rather than just, blindly accepting every thought that comes into our mind as our own. That's another reason why insulation in the terms of our mind and our communication and even our immediate environment right now is very important, and it is the direction we are headed with Gemini. So where we're struggling and what is at the top of our awareness right now is, the Archangel Michael is divine power, this heart, this flaming heart and protection, right? The flaming sword. When it's reversed like this, we're really struggling, struggling to reconnect to our real power. The thumbnail for this video is from all of those thumbnails. They're my own photography. They're from actual locations. That is a museum that was in Nuremberg, Germany, last in fall 2019 when I was in Europe, and it is Archangel Michael. We need to reconnect to our actual divine source of power. And we are feeling at a loss. And I think this is what engages that passion to try to do something, because we want to reclaim that power, but we're doing it from an ego-based perspective and not connecting to a divine, limitless source of power. We may not know what to do. That's the other thing. We may not know what to do. We're so used to having a certain way of doing things that we don't know what to do now. And we have to let go of our old perceptions and limitations. There's that fool again. Let it all go. Let it all go. And so we can take action on our own behalf instead of everybody else's, right? We're not here to save the world. We're here to save ourselves. And that in turn will ripple out to a healthy collective and the manifestation of our highest potential. We have to activate that, but that starts with each of us. I think that we're really feeling disempowered and we're having a hard time. And there's some reasons for that we're going to get into. At the root of things energetically, even more unbalanced, the 7 of forces. There's definitely a lack of balance that is really informing a lot of this. We have to, again, it's about being proactive. Take action on what you need to take action on to rectify the situation, to find some measure of balance within you. This is about what's going on in our subconscious and where we are energetically rooted. It's not balanced. And if we are bypassing by using these new moon energies as a way to focus on what we think we want, or we are in some sort of control of creating anything other than aligning with it, then, that is out of balance. And if we want to actually manifest something that is in alignment with our highest potential, we have to be in balance first. If we are out of balance, then that's what we're going to get. It's important that we are finding the ways to get in balance. And so this is, again, the energy work, right? The self-reflection, that is so important, right? Empty your mind, just like Bruce Lee says, be formless and shapeless like water. When things come into Pisces, that's going to be, if we have done that, wow, that's going to be powerful. If we have not, it's going to be powerful in a different way. But right now, at the root of things, energetically, out of balance, we need to get ourselves back into balance, whatever that means for us individually. Okay, we're not gonna keep projecting out all of our trauma and our unresolved shit and think that that's going to create any balance. It's not. So where is this headed? Well, here's another 10. This is the Wheel of Fortune. This is the Jupiter card. So then we have Venus with our resources, right, on one end, with that 10 of discs, right? Everything is accumulated. It all is already here. And then on the other end is another 10, another closing of a cycle. The wheel is going to turn, and we're not going to know when it's going to turn, how much it's going to turn. We just know that Jupiter is going to come in and be the turning point, right? This is the benefactor, right? Coming in and, if you look here, all the lightning bolts, I mean, that's what Jupiter does. He throws the lightning bolts, and we don't know when it's going to happen. We just know that it will based on the whim of Zeus or Jupiter, which is, again, the benefactor, expansion. The wheel's going to turn. And fortune or fate is really just part of the cause and effect relationship. And if we allow ourselves to be an empty vessel, not to be taken advantage of, not to be controlled, not to be just like a totally insovereign being, but to be the beginner's mind, to empty our minds so that we can allow pure emotional content to move through it so that we can take action when it's time. When this turning of the wheel happens, we will be ready. We will adjust to it no matter what, because we have left ourselves available to be in the moment, as opposed to projecting anything that we think or shouldn't be happening, because we're in resistance to this. And this is some of the deepest wisdom that we have the opportunity to really teach this month if we allow this new moon intention to really, infuse our whole being here. But the wheel is going to turn. There is a lot of cycle wrapping up in this transmission, and our resonance right now is meant to be this beginner's mind for sure. So good old Jupiter, some guidance here. Where did we go? Okay. So we're still getting caught up in the emotional ramifications of our fighting and conflict, right? The Two of Roses reversed. It's already, the winged messenger is the dove coming in, the hawk coming in. So there's this predatory aspect. There is a disruption in our ability to be unified, because there needs to be differentiation in order to have the opportunity to understand unification. And that in itself is the message. So, but we're not getting the message. Our fear and our disempowerment and not being connected to divine source is still drowning out that voice of our spirit, of our soul, of our higher self. We're not necessarily hearing the fullness of the message, that it is the process of differentiation. It is the crack in the tea kettle, so to speak, that is allowing us to understand the process of unification. So we're not hearing it because we're still caught up in the drama of it, the emotional drama of it. And people are determined to have their way. And so it's important that we step away from the conflict rather than continue. Again, there's that North Node in Gemini. Rather than continue to engage with outside of us, it's more beneficial, and we're going to have more, the direction of our soul's growth is much more in the direction of it's time to insulate ourselves from this dramatic conflict, because it's there for a reason, and it's there to learn from it, of course, but it's also being created artificially in order to create the division, because there are certain forces that they benefit when there is division, and we can't get caught in the drama of it. It's much more seeing the message that it provides for us. Okay, we're really losing our power and our connection to divine power, because we're caught in the drama still. And there's a lot to be caught in. I totally get that. I'm caught in it too. Again, I told you my South Node is sitting on Neptune and Mars in my 11th house, right? I'm here to save the world, and I will do it as a warrior. And it's a lofty ideal. Okay, there are people here now, so it's good. I'm wrapping up. And it's important too that we realize here that we are missing some things. You're overlooking important details, so pay closer attention, right? Get into body language, listen to what people are actually saying, read between the lines. Again, getting caught up in the drama is not going to allow us to survive. We have to be much more discerning. We have to have a deeper intuition, and be willing to look at things in a way that is not, like I said, getting caught up in the drama is keeping us from actually seeing what's going on and paying closer attention. So that's one aspect here that can help guide us to get us tapped into our own power. The seagull, when it comes to this seven of forces, this lack of balance, it's time for deep emotional healing. So the ocean is that emotional content that we have, and the seagull is able to take that perspective over top of our the vastness of our emotional life. And so this is how we heal, because if we are constantly just engaged in it, if we are constantly we're drowning in it, essentially, then we're not going to be able to really heal. We have to give ourselves the opportunity to kind of take ourselves, again, out of the emotional drama of it all so that we can see how we can heal. It doesn't mean that we don't have our feelings. It doesn't mean that we don't express those feelings so that we can get them out of our system, but we can't continue to stay embroiled in it. This is not going to allow us to have the beginner's mind. If we're still embroiled in it, then of course we're not going to leave space for the new to come in. And then when that wheel of fortune, when that wheel turns, right, big money, we are not going to like where it lands, because we're just so entrenched in our own victim narrative. And so it is time for deep healing, and that means we have to actually do that work. That is really the work, is the healing, not so much trying to project that out and make changes so that we can continue with the identity of whatever it is that makes us a victim, right? It's time to be a survivor. And again, the reflection, when this is upright, number 19, this is calm reflection, being able to see into our emotional self and really listen to our intuition. But when it's reversed like this, the inner battle between our emotional needs and our intuitive voice, and the emotions are winning. Again, we have to come out of this, and so that we can see where we need to heal. And it's time to look at these emotional storms that are influencing everything so that we can come back into balance. Because like I said, the wheel's going to turn, right? And at the heart of this, we really can be in this beginner's mind and be totally present. And Venus and Jupiter today are really, that's their beautiful, benefic connection, is allowing us to be more sensitive to what's to come, but it requires that we are in the present, and we're not in the present when we are in our past and in the emotional drama. And so Mercury in Aquarius right now, today, especially when the moon came and met Mercury in Aquarius, the protection of our resources, right? We can't get embroiled in the emotional drama. We can't get pulled into all of the aspects outside of us. Our real growth here is in the direction of learning how to manage the realm of ideas, Gemini, in a way that is not getting pulled into the drama of it. And this is about interfacing with people who speak our language, that understand us, and where we feel safe, and kind of, insulating ourselves. Whereas the South Node is about the culture insulating people from the truth. And that serves a purpose to a certain extent, because you don't want people to burn out with direct connection. And this is what religion and culture allow for, but that is not where we're going. That is where we're heading from. And so we can't shelter people from the truth necessarily. That's not going to work. Everybody needs to come to this on their own, but at the same time, we need to allow ourselves to be an open and empty vessel to the newness can come in. It's a weird paradox right now, and this is how you're able to be an open without shielding necessarily, because when you're shining your light so bright, you don't have to shield, because there's no room for darkness when your light is shining that bright. But when that's a process that you can't force. You have to actually go into your own darkness first in order to understand how it envelops you, so that you can shine your light, because it's a constant, we're constantly growing and going through this process. But I would say, just looking at the fullness of this reading right now, let's look at it again. Right? We're at these major cycles, wrapping up and turning over, almost literally, with the Wheel of Fortune. And we really are in a position right now with this new moon and with the year of the metal ox, because the yin energy of metal is contraction and inner reflection and the work on the inside. But we have to do that work. We have to, in order to create a vessel for an open vessel and a beginner's mind, in order to be aligned with what's coming. And Venus and Jupiter today, I think, is just a beautiful opportunity to be sensitive to what's coming, and be sensitive to the turn of this wheel in a way that where we can be totally present and also anticipate what's going to happen, and not be disturbed by it, not be emotionally pulled into it, just be the beginner's mind. It's a very Zen thing. So that's the transmission for today, guys. Thank you so much for being here, being part of this with me. Happy new moon to all of you. Happy Chinese New Year. This is really potent time. There are lots of interesting transits coming. So I invite you to check out the new moon video. I will actually, when I get the chance, I'll link it at the end of this video. You can catch me on BitChute as well, Telegram, Facebook, medium.com for blog posts. And if you're interested in booking a reading, this is a great time to book that lunar transit reading. You can go to catalystenergies.net and you can go to services and be able to book right from there. And I give you a video just like this based on your individual birth chart and what to expect over the coming weeks with this particular lunar transit. It's a big one. So I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.